Yo, what is up, Team Sztanyo Clanyo? It is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Eric Sztanyo from Keller Williams Advisors here with you, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on the real estate market in Cincinnati as of May 2022. I'm on my way right now to a board meeting for a local nonprofit I'm a part of. So you're in the Sztanyo Vanyo right now with the Clanyo. But let's talk about the real estate market and where we are at. A lot of people are thinking that because of the rates going way up that the market is going to be cooling off. And as of yet, we haven't seen that. In fact, I just recorded a video, it'll probably be coming out this week, where I go into depth about why the market cooling off is probably not a thing that we're going to see anytime soon. I'm not saying that we're not seeing inflation. I'm not saying that we're not heading towards a recession, which I think we are. But in terms of real estate, because everyone kind of keeps thinking in their minds like, oh, this is going to be 2008 all over again, or 2009, what happened when. But you got to remember, going into that, what happened was builders built a ton of inventory leading up in like 04, 05, 06, 07. And then when the bottom kind of dropped out, because all these people were getting loans that shouldn't have gotten loans, everyone got upside down when the recession hit in their mortgage. So you had all these foreclosures and you had all this inventory going into it. We're in a much, much different spot now in 2022 than we were then, because what happened in the years following the Great Recession is builders got scared. Builders did not keep up with inventory for the next about a dozen years. And so where we're at nationally is we are millions of units short of demand needs. We are short on supply. We are high on demand. Exasperating that issue is exasperating the low supply issue is that demand has only increased. And it's not only demand from residential owners, people who want to be homeowners. If you're a first-time home buyer especially, you are in an additional pinch because you are having to compete against these companies like BlackRock and these huge hedge funds, institutional money, who are dumping tons of cash into buying these, starter homes, essentially. They're mostly, now most of that money, and like I said, I've got an in-depth video coming out, and I'm referencing this 60 Minutes video that came out about a month ago. Most of that institutional money is going into the Sun Belt cities across America. So think Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Florida, even Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, even, and what you're seeing, what buyers are finding in those areas are they're having to go up against these institutional investors who are putting in cash offers, waiving inspections, over asking price, and they're like, what the heck? How am I supposed to compete with this? And so Cincinnati's interesting because we're just north of that. Now, I do see some institutional money out there when I have listings, when I have buyers and we're competing on offers, but I'm not necessarily seeing like what we saw in that video that I'm putting out on Thursday is agents were saying in these Sunbelt cities up to 30% of the properties being bought are from these institutional hedge funds, which is nuts. Like, not only are you having to fight the fact that housing prices are way up, that your real wages are down, that inflation is going crazy, but now you have to be in multiple offers against cash buyers with institutional money. Like, it's super challenging. So that's coming more on Thursday in the video that I'll be putting out. In terms of the market here locally, I just looked at some stats from the Cincinnati MLS that showed, because again, a lot of people are like, oh, with interest rates going up, I'm sure the market is slowing down. It's not the case, guys. We're not seeing that. I haven't seen it personally. I mean, maybe days on market are slightly, maybe especially for those higher end homes. So if you're getting around $500,000 up to $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes, those might be slowing down, and you might see some of those houses on the market for a week or so because the interest rate it's changing people's buyer pool a little bit, but it's not necessarily changing the amount of demand, if that makes sense. So if, let's say you could afford a $500,000 house at the beginning of the year when interest rates were closer to maybe 2.5%, 3%, but now they're up at 5.5%. Now maybe you're down in that 400 tier or 450 tier or something like that. So you've still got all that competition, and that makes its way down to all the way down to houses in the 200s, or even in the someone trying to get a house for 150, that's a challenge, but you could do it potentially here. So I saw that the days on market month over month has not changed. It's still two days on average 2 days average median days on market, which means inventory is still flying off, and properties are still getting into multiple offers. The other thing I saw is that year to date, the median home increase is up 9% year to date. So what does that mean? It means inventory continues to be low, housing prices continue to go up. Yes, interest rates are going up, but if you look at the long-term charts of like, where's the inventory going to come from? If you're thinking about that, well, builders have to build. But before builders can build, builders have to buy land. Builders have to develop land. Builders have to put in utilities. Builders have to build roads. Builders have to get permits. Builders have to make sure the supply chain works. All of that takes a lot of time. And the truth is that builders are basically like a dozen years behind on that. And so I think, look, I'm not an economist. I'm just a dude. I'm just a realtor dude, right? But I'm telling you what I see boots on the ground right now, which is, where's this inventory going to come from? And it's going to take several years, in my opinion. Why is it so scary to buy a house right now? Because it costs a lot of money. Because I think why it's scary is that, prices are way up. And so, look, we're all, I think, getting in our heads, like adjusting with what inflation is doing. When you dump billions of dollars into the economy and you have too much money chasing too few goods, you have inflation, right? That's the definition of inflation. And so we're all like having to reset prices in our mind to understand like what is a normal price for a house or for a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas. And it's hard because real wages haven't kept up with that. So everyone's feeling the pinch right now. I get that. But housing prices aren't going to go down, in my opinion. Like, I can't remember if I published this video or not. It's coming up. I've got a video coming up called the $75,000. Do you honestly think the prices will not go down? Yeah, I don't think they're going to go down. I don't think they're going to go down. And I think because I had the same conversation with people 2 years ago. And the inventory hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse. When there's low inventory and high demand, prices go up. That's just basic economics. So yes, the stock market's going down. Yes, looks like we're heading into a recession potentially, but I could be dead wrong. Look, maybe a ton of people didn't see it coming in 2008. I could be completely wrong. This might be a housing bubble that's going to burst and housing prices are going to go down. Maybe that's going to happen, but the inventory is not there. We're just in such a different spot from an inventory standpoint than where we were in 2008. I had people coming to me in 2020 saying, hey, I'm just going to rent. I'm going to keep renting and I'm going to sit it out, or I'm going to sell my house and rent. And I just did the math. Like, we've seen 25% appreciation in the last 2 years. So if you didn't buy a $300,000 house in 2020 because you've been waiting it out and renting, A, probably your rent went up 25, 30%, and B, you missed out on $75,000 of appreciation in the last 2 years. So if that was a $500,000 house, then what's the math on that? 170, 125? 125, right? You missed out on $125,000 of appreciation in 2 years if you didn't buy 2 years ago. And so I get that prices look super scary and expensive right now, and I get that the market is like crazy to want to buy right now, but are you going to keep waiting it out and renting and letting landlords just increase the rent on you? Because that's why institutional money is coming in and buying houses, is because they're going to be able to raise rents because there's no inventory. Like, follow the money. If major institutional investors are coming in and buying in as much real estate as they can because their dollars are simply getting melted away because of inflation, and they've got to park that money somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. The stock market's going down. There's, maybe they're putting it in crypto, but that's like slow moving for big Michael Saylor, right? He's the guy that's kind of leading the charge on trying to get institutional money to invest in crypto, but like that's a slow moving process, and that's still a scary thing for a lot of institutional board members to wrap their heads around. So they're buying real estate, and that makes it harder for you to buy real estate. That means prices are going up. High demand, low supply. So this is where the market's at. If you're trying to get a deal on real estate, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but like that's just not what we're seeing right now. I don't see it happening anytime soon. If you want to benefit from the appreciation, I would say be a homeowner. Again, take it for what it's worth. I'm a realtor. I get paid to sell houses. So you can throw all this out the window if you want. I'm just telling you what I see in the market, which is demand hasn't slowed down. Housing prices haven't slowed down. Supply isn't really getting any better. In fact, it's gotten worse. And a big part of that is actually because of the interest rates, because people who were thinking about selling this year when rates were at 2.5% or 3%, are like, well, I don't want to sell my house even though it's high and then buy another house at 5.5%. And so the interest rates are only exacerbating the problem. People think that interest rates are going to make it better. It's only making less sellers put their house on the market. And so inventory is hard to come by, per usual. All right, I'm going to give you 3 quick tips, what I usually tell people to do if they want to buy a house right now. Tip number 1 is shop beneath your budget, because you are probably going to have to go over asking price. If you want to win, you're probably going to need to potentially waive the inspection and or have an appraisal gap along with being over the ask price. So shop below your budget if you're looking for the houses that are just hitting the market and are super cute and are priced right. Anything like that is still being snapped up in 2 days or less. And the seller gets to choose out of multiple offers which ones they want to take. So if you're going to buy that house, you need to be prepared to shop under your budget and go over asking price. Second option is if there's a house that's out there 7 days or more, there's something wrong with it and it's overpriced. And you're welcome to buy that house if you want to deal with the thing that's wrong with it and why people have passed on it. But just know there's something wrong with it or it's overpriced. But the good news is you don't have to fight against 20 other buyers to buy that house, probably. And then option 3 is new construction. Those are kind of your options right now. So it's hard, but we can still help you win. I'd recommend if you want to still benefit from the appreciation, then you need to own a home and not rent. That's my 2 cents. Again, take it with a grain of salt because I'm a realtor and I sell houses for a living. So, okay, I got to get off. I'm lost and I need to get to this board meeting. I'm up by NKU University right now and about to head into a FCA board meeting. My kids just did a musical theater. They did a production of Oliver Jr. up here, and my son was Oliver, and my other son was Mr. Bumble. It was super fun. So I've been up here a lot lately, but I'm going to hop off, guys. I hope that was helpful. What are your thoughts on buying in Indiana? Is the quality of new construction suffering because of shortages? Okay, let me hit those questions real quick. Indiana, honestly, I don't know too much about. If you're thinking about the greater Cincinnati area, then, southeast Indiana, over here is, there's a few good cities over there. I'm licensed in Ohio and Kentucky, so I can't speak too much about Indiana, to be honest. Is the quality of new construction suffering? I wouldn't say that. And mostly when you're getting a new construction house, you also have warranties. You have a first-year home warranty and you have a foundation warranty for usually like around 10 years. So I think new construction, you're going to be paying a little bit more per square foot, but you're also getting a new house, which is nice, that no one's lived for before. And the advantage of, if you're trying to buy resale and there's not a lot of houses on the market, you have to kind of buy whatever is available in terms of floor plan. And then if you don't like a lot of the cosmetic, choices that the previous owner has made, you got to spend that money on that anyway. So to me, it's kind of like, why not go ahead and buy the floor plan that you want and choose all the cosmetic finishes that you like, and maybe you're paying a little bit more for that now, but it's certainly not uncommon for people that by the time they go under contract, and this is different in different states, but here locally, with a builder that I work with a lot with my buyers is Fisher Homes, once you choose your structural components of the home and your cosmetic updates, that price is locked in all the way through closing. So if it takes them 7 to 9 months to build their house, you already bought the house price that was locked in, and it's very common right now that most people who are buying a new house, by the time they move in, they've already got appreciation and 20, 30, 40 grand of equity already built in because of what's happening in the market. That seems like a good plan to me. Like, buy the house you want, the design you want, and have equity in the home when you close. All right, guys, I'm late, so I got to run, but hope this was helpful for you, and we will talk to you later.